ready to ready to step into a Kenyan keg bar.
Yeah.
Like, picture this.
Right.
It's bustling, the music is loud, and the scent of, like, roasted meat just fills the air.
Okay.
It's where people go to socialize, unwind, escape the daily grind. And today, we are going to dive deep into this world.
Okay.
Specifically, the business of selling Senator Keg beer in Kenya.
Right.
We've got this YouTube video from Sibilix DigiTV titled Keg Bar Business in Kenya, How to Start a Business.
Okay.
That breaks down everything from its origin story to the nitty-gritty details of actually running one of these establishments.
Okay.
So
what's really fascinating about Senator Keg is how it emerged from a national tragedy.
That's right. In 2003, over 140 people died from drinking illicit brew, which prompted the Kenyan government to push for a safer and more affordable alternative. And EABL, East African Breweries Limited, stepped up to the challenge.
He did.
They launched Senator Keg in 2004 as a direct response to this crisis.
Yeah.
And it was a hit.
A hit right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's amazing how a company can respond to a social crisis and create a sustainable business model, even winning a sustainability award in 2021.
Yeah.
But what really made it take off?
Well, EABL realized they needed a completely different marketing approach to reach this new market segment.
Yeah.
They ditched the fancy product launches and went straight to the heart of informal settlements. Organizing live shows to promote Senator Keg.
Smart move.
Yeah.
It sounds like they really understood their target audience.
They did.
But getting back to the business side of things, I imagine there are some hurdles to overcome before you can even open a keg bar.
Absolutely. You wouldn't believe the hoops you have to jump through.
Really?
The licensing process is a maze.
Okay, so let's break it down. What are some of the licenses needed?
Well, you've got your general retail alcohol license, single business permit, public health license.
Right.
You even need a medical certificate for your workers.
Wow.
And a fire clearing certificate.
Sounds pretty thorough.
Yeah.
Any surprises in there?
Let me tell you, the music licensing folks are particularly fierce about getting their cut. You'll need separate licenses from the Music Copyright Society of Kenya and the Performance Rights Society of Kenya.
All right.
And they are not shy about making sure you pay up.
So you've navigated that licensing maze.
Yeah.
What's next?
Then it's time to think about the practical side. Finding the right location with good foot traffic.
Yeah.
Securing a visible premise.
And, of course, all the equipment.
Exactly.
Right.
You'll need furniture.
Yeah.
Like sturdy wooden tables and chairs, plus the essentials, mugs, jugs, glasses. Interestingly, most bar owners go with plastic over glass.
Oh, really?
Because of breakage.
Yeah, that makes sense in a busy bar.
Which makes sense in a busy bar.
Yeah, definitely practical.
Right.
But you can't forget about keeping those customers entertained.
No, you can't.
Right.
You'll want a decent entertainment system.
Okay.
A good music system. A TV for the news and sports. And perhaps even a DSTV subscription. For live events.
Yeah.
And, of course, the heart of the operation.
Right.
The keg and the pump.
Speaking of pumps, the video mentioned a thriving black market for substandard ones.
Right.
How big of a problem is this?
It's a classic supply and demand issue.
Yeah.
The demand for kegs and pumps sometimes outstrips the supply, leading some distributors to cut corners. So investing in a good quality pump is crucial. You don't want to be replacing it every few weeks.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
So you've got your location, your licenses, and your equipment. What's the next step?
Well, now it's time to crunch the numbers. Just how much capital are we looking at to get this keg bar up and running?
That's the million-shilling question.
Right.
What's the ballpark figure?
Well, the video gives an estimate.
Okay.
But remember,
yeah,
this can vary wildly depending on your location.
Right.
And the scale of your operation.
Okay, let's break down the major expenses.
Okay.
We've already touched on licenses. What else is there?
You got your initial outlay for furniture utensils, the entertainment system, a counter, and shelves, the all-important keg and pump.
Right.
And then there are renovations to consider.
Okay.
You want to create a space that's inviting.
Yeah.
Somewhere people want to hang out.
That makes sense. A dingy rundown bar
right.
isn't going to attract many customers.
Exactly.
And then you've got the ongoing costs, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Rent, staff salaries, electricity, water,
Oh, yeah.
Transport security, and of course those miscellaneous costs that always seem to pop up.
It all adds up.
It does.
But hopefully the profits make it worthwhile.
Right.
What's the typical profit margin on a keg of Senator Keg?
So a 300 milliliter mug
Okay.
typically sells for around 30 shillings.
Okay.
Which translates to a profit margin of about 1,620 shillings per 50-liter barrel.
Not bad. But how many customers does it take to actually empty a barrel?
The average customer drinks about 1.5 liters.
Okay.
So you're looking at around 34 customers to finish off a barrel.
And how many barrels does a typical keg bar go through, like, on a daily basis?
It really varies.
Okay.
Weekdays might see sales of around 3 barrels, while weekends can jump to 6 or more.
Okay.
Some bars sell less than a barrel a day,
Yeah.
while others move considerably more.
Okay.
It really depends on factors like location and what's happening in the area.
Yeah.
Think about things like a big football match being shown on DSTV.
Right. Big events always draw a crowd.
They do.
Okay, so let's paint a picture for our listeners.
Right.
If you're selling 2 barrels a day, what kind of revenue are we talking about?
If you're selling 2 barrels daily, your monthly revenue, excluding the cost of the stock, could reach 897,000 shillings.
Wow, okay.
After factoring in expenses, your profit could be around 59,000 shillings.
So with an initial investment of around 350,000 shillings, you could potentially see a return on your investment in about 6 to 7 months.
That's the estimate, yes.
Yeah.
But it's essential to remember these are just averages.
Right.
The actual figures will depend on so many factors.
Like the competition.
Right.
I imagine the keg bar market in Kenya is pretty fierce.
It is. It's booming.
Really?
There are over 20,000 Senator Keg retailers.
Wow.
And EABL is constantly expanding its distribution network.
Okay.
They're even aiming to add another 4,000 retailers in the Western region alone.
That's a lot of competition.
It is.
What are the main barriers to entry for someone wanting to break into this market?
Firstly, getting those kegs and pumps can be a challenge, as we discussed.
Right.
Then there's the licensing process, which can be quite complex. But perhaps the biggest hurdle is the cost of securing a visible premise.
Right.
In a high-traffic area, prime real estate is key.
Location, location, location.
Exactly.
That's true for any business.
It is.
But what about the competition itself?
Right.
How do these keg bars try to differentiate themselves and stand out from the crowd?
It's a combination of factors. Yeah. Quality of service is crucial.
Okay.
Customers appreciate clean restrooms.
Right.
Good music. Maybe live sports on the TV. Comfortable seating. And, of course, friendly and efficient service.
I can imagine nobody wants to wait forever for their beer.
Exactly. Pricing is another key factor.
Okay.
Even small differences can sway customers.
Yeah.
Then there's this tactic called ring fencing.
Ring fencing? That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
What exactly is that?
It's basically a way for established bars to muscle out the competition. They buy up any available property nearby.
Oh, wow.
So no one else can set up shop.
Okay.
They're creating a buffer zone.
Wow.
To protect their turf.
That's a smart strategy, if a little ruthless.
It is.
What other factors come into play when it comes to competition?
Relationships with local authorities can be a make or break factor.
Oh, really?
And then there's branding.
Oh, okay.
Which can be really powerful.
So how do these keg bars use branding to stand out?
They might target specific demographics through the music they play, the ambiance they create, or even the names they give their bars.
Okay.
It's about creating a unique identity that resonates with a particular group of customers.
With all this competition, I'm curious about the customers themselves.
Right.
Who are these people frequenting the keg bars?
The video paints a pretty clear picture.
Okay.
The typical customer is male.
Okay.
96% of keg bar customers are men.
That's a staggering statistic.
It is.
So what else do we know about these guys?
They're very price sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
And appreciate good service. But here's the interesting part.
Yeah.
They're highly intolerant of bad service or rudeness.
Oh.
Treat them right, and they'll be back.
Okay.
Mess up, and they'll take their business elsewhere.
So loyalty is hard-earned in the keg bar business?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
The video breaks down customer types into 3 categories.
Right.
Daily customers, weekly customers, and irregular customers.
Okay, let's break those down.
Okay.
Who are the daily customers?
These are your regulars.
Okay.
They might not spend huge amounts individually.
Yeah.
but they're loyal and provide a consistent revenue stream.
Got it. What about the weekly customers?
These are the folks who bring in the windfalls.
Okay.
They often spend more and buy in larger quantities.
Right.
They might only come once a week.
Uh-huh.
But their impact is significant.
And the irregular customer?
These are the wild cards.
Okay.
They have the potential to become regulars.
Right.
But you need to find a way to capture their attention.
Yeah.
And keep them coming back.
Okay, so how do you do that?
Right.
How do you turn an irregular customer into a regular?
It goes back to those key factors we discussed.
Okay.
Quality of service, competitive pricing,
and
a great atmosphere.
Right.
Some bar owners even reward their loyal customers with a free drink now and then.
Okay.
It's a small gesture, but it can go a long way in building goodwill.
It's all about understanding your customers and their needs.
Exactly.
The video also mentioned the importance of understanding local income trends.
Yeah.
Why is that important?
Well, imagine you're in an area with a lot of construction workers.
Yeah.
They typically get paid on Saturdays, so you might see a surge in business on those days.
Oh, that makes sense. They would be ready to relax and enjoy themselves after a hard week's work.
Right.
Speaking of work, let's talk about the people running these bars.
Okay.
How many employees do you need to run a successful keg bar?
It really depends on the size of your operation and how busy you are.
Okay.
The video suggests starting with one permanent employee and one on-call.
Why have someone on call?
To cover those busy days and weekends, of course. Even your permanent employee needs a day off, and if that happens to fall on a busy Saturday, you'll want to have backup.
Definitely. Do you need to hire experienced staff, or can you train people on the job?
Experience is helpful, but not essential. It's not rocket science after all. But the video did have an interesting piece of advice when it comes to hiring.
Oh, what's that?
They recommended avoiding hiring staff from local bars unless they have exceptionally good character.
I can see why that might be a concern. They could bring some bad habits with them.
Exactly.
So how much are we paying these employees? What's the typical salary range for keg bar staff?
For permanent employees, it's usually between 5,000 and 10,000 shillings per month, depending on location. But there's often a performance-based element to their pay.
How does that work?
The owner sets a target, usually the price of a full barrel. The employee gets their base salary, and anything they earn above that target, they get to keep.
That's a good incentive to sell more, but it also relies on them being honest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're selling spirits as well as beer. You need to have a lot of trust in your staff.
Yeah, it sounds like running a keg bar in Kenya has its challenges, but it's also incredibly rewarding. This deep dive has been fascinating.
Yeah, it's a reminder that even businesses that appear simple on the surface can be surprisingly complex.
Right.
With their own unique challenges and rewards.
So let's recap what we've learned from this YouTube video.
We started by exploring the origins of Senator Keg, a product born from a national tragedy. But that has ultimately become a success story. It's a great example of how a company can respond to a crisis with an innovative and sustainable solution.
Then we got into the nitty-gritty of actually setting up a keg bar, from navigating the complex world of licenses to securing the right equipment and finding that all-important prime location.
And of course, we couldn't forget the financial side of things. We talked about the startup costs, ongoing expenses, potential revenue and profit margins.
We also learned that the keg bar market is incredibly competitive, with established players using a variety of tactics to stay ahead of the game.
Tactics like ring-fencing their territory and developing unique branding to attract specific customer groups.
And those customers, well, we learned that understanding their behavior is key to success. You need to provide excellent service, competitive pricing, and a welcoming atmosphere.
Don't forget those local income trends. Understanding when your customers are most likely to have money to spend can make all the difference.
This deep dive has given us a real appreciation for the intricacies of this seemingly simple business.
It's not just about pouring a cold beer. It's about understanding your market, managing your finances, and building relationships with both your customers and your staff.
And with that, we leave you with a final thought-provoking question. What strategies would you employ to stand out in this crowded market? It takes creativity, resilience, and a genuine passion for the business. What would your winning formula be? Thanks for joining us on this